one of the projects I'm involved in is an electronic dictionary of medieval Irish. Together with some colleagues, a colleague here in Cambridge and two colleagues in Queen's University Belfast, we're going through medieval texts and using them to augment and correct entries that are in this electronic dictionary of the Irish language, which is online and is an absolute kind of treasure trove of words. And of course, in that treasure trove, strands of history are kind of captured. And so what we're trying to do is draw attention to this wonderful resource, which of course is a resource for people who are interested in words and specific texts, but it's also, I think, a resource of much wider value and to a much broader community. So what we're trying to do is create resource packages, first and foremost for teachers. So teachers in Britain and Ireland, teachers of history and teachers of language, so teachers of Irish, in Ireland, teachers of Gaelic in Scotland, because the written language of the medieval period in Ireland and Scotland was the same. It was what we call, Irish in Ireland and Scots Gaelic in Scotland. So we're putting resources together for teachers, secondary school teachers who teach Viking history, medieval history, drawing their attention to this resource and showing them how students can actually use it. So say, for example, students are interested in Vikings, or they might be interested in chariots, or they might be interested in particular kinds of medieval houses. Because this is a searchable database, and because it has a very strong search kind of mechanism, and because they can search in Irish if they know the word, but they can also search in English. So if they're interested in a particular kind of house or a particular kind of Viking, or they can put in that word and then bring up all of the attestations of that particular word. So put in the word in English, but bring up attestations in Irish, and that then gives them references to various texts. Many of these texts, of course, are translated, so they can then go and read the text and find out much more about the particular kind of topic they're interested in. So we've been going through curricula of secondary schools, and there are various modules in, as I say, both the British history curriculum, also the history curriculum in the Republic of Ireland, and of course clearly for Irish language courses as well. And as I say, we're in dialogue with these teachers, because obviously for resources to work we need to build them with the teachers in question. The other strand, I suppose, is putting resources together for independent study by students, because both in Britain and Ireland students are very much encouraged to do higher project qualifications, extended project qualifications, and there's the equivalent in Ireland as well. So by putting together, bibliographies and resources for particular themes dealing with medieval Ireland and directing them then to this wonderful online dictionary, we're hoping that, I suppose, people would begin to use it as the wonderful resource it is, telling us about kind of the history of medieval Ireland and indeed beyond. I think the real value in disseminating knowledge, to colleagues and to a general audience, is that you're forced to really clarify for yourself what you actually think. And it's in that process of clarification, and actually on some level you have to think even more about clarifying it when you're trying to disseminate to a much wider audience. I think then ultimately your own thinking gets clarified. So that's really the main benefit. I think it benefits all of us as researchers, because it might, cause us to go back to a particular, piece of the puzzle, as it were. So by explaining something, we're learning ourselves.